What's good, y'all? So we back for Love is Blind season 7, episode number 9. Is love enough? I think with this episode I'm just gonna like watch a little bit, pause, record, to make sure I don't forget some of my thoughts. So this episode starts out with look at me here. I just keep having breakouts around here. But the episode starts out with Garrett and Taylor. They are at they're at their apartment, and Taylor said, "Good morning from Arlington, Virginia," which is just on the other side of the Lincoln Monument. So in Washington Monument. Uh, I feel like they talked about her going out to go run some errands. She happened to be off of work that day, so that's how she got the chance to go run some errands. They talking about him getting ready to shave. She don't like his facial hair, which is something that I mentioned at the beginning. I'm trying to think, what else did they say? Really? Like she gonna start going to get some more stuff, doing more stuff for their wedding and all that kind of stuff like that. Taking care of that kind of thing. We see Tyler and Ashley at home, wherever their home is. They have the dog there. The dog is Tyler's dog. The dog's name is, dang, is it Kobe? Zoe? I forgot. But Tyler has a dog. Cute, pretty dog. The dog looks like Tyler. They talking about how many kids they gonna have. He talking about 7. And talking about dropping the kids off at daycare. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna drop little Timmy off. She was like, Timmy. He was like, what you gonna say, DeAndre? Now that was shade, Tyler. I got a DeAndre in my family. Don't do us. She was like, no. And then she was just also saying, it's just every time they show him, every time they put that nuclear security officer or nuclear security specialist, every time I see that, I'm just rolling my eyes so hard because that is not what he is. Was he that at the time of filming, like last year or earlier this year when they filmed this? Like, what in the world? And then the fact that he's still talking to her about how many kids, knowing he already got 3 kids that he claimed he was the sperm donor, but he was very active in their lives. And then somebody put out, I just seen on Facebook, they was like, y'all, I know some of y'all watch this show, and they shared somebody's post where they was saying, your kids miss you, Tyler. And they got the pictures of all the kids. They so cute, and they look just like him, like just like him. But anywho, he talking about 7 kids, and I'm thinking, is he saying 7 because he mean the 3 he already got and 4 with her? And she was like, I'm not having no 7 kids. So she was like, she definitely want to have a daughter. So he was like, so if you have your girl first, she was like, I don't care after that. I can have my girl first and we can try again for a boy. But if I have a boy, I'm definitely trying again so I can get me a girl. And he was like, I thought you said I could pick out the boy name. She said, yeah, but I got some names that I was considering. I'm just not going to put them out there yet because she don't want nobody to judge or steal the names that she got picked for her kid. And she said something like, because I don't want to have another Ashley. He was like, but I like your name. She was like, okay, cool, but no. Um, so they talk and they still discussing some wedding stuff. So right now in this moment, I'm at the scene where Hannah is at home with Nick, and her brother comes over. I don't remember seeing what his name was, but anywho, the brother comes over. He got his black fingernails, and he's gay. They look from similar, him and Hannah, and they talk about height, and she do got an issue with his height. She thought he was a tall. He did lie and say he was taller than what he actually is. And like she keep making digs at him or whatever, and she cooks dinner. First of all, she cooking dinner. Who is cooking dinner with a damn leather blazer on? I was like, this don't even go together, Netflix. or whoever it is that produced this show. This don't go together. So then they sit down, they eat, and they talking. And the brother was like, we bicker, but we got a good relationship. She was the first person I came out to because Hannah has always had the I don't give a shit attitude. And she's bold and she make her decision and she stand in it. And he wasn't like that. He tells the brother that Hannah is he only dated two women previously. And the brother was like, and how old are you again? He said 28. He was like, wow, well, I haven't dated any women previously either. I thought that was a cute little joke that he made. But they basically talk about how Hannah likes to talk to people and stuff. And so Hannah like walks off, and the brother and Nick are having a conversation. And because she had made a joke, she told him he don't know how to make jokes. Because he was like, that wasn't funny. She said, no, it was not. You don't know how to. I make a joke, it's funny. You make a joke, it's cruel. So when she walked off, the brother was like, and like gave Nick a look, and then they talked, and he was like, that's one thing about Hannah. Hannah can. Nick was like, yeah, like she'd say something, and I let it I let it roll off of me like a little plop of water, but after the 20th time, it's like, all right, like it's getting on his nerves. And the brother was like, I know where you're coming from because that's how she is. She can say something to you that's super mean, but the moment you basically, he didn't say these words, but that's how I take it. The moment you match her energy and hit her with something just as harsh as what she's hitting you with over and over and over again, she can't fucking take it. And he said, and that's one of the things that she need to work on that bothers him about the relationship that him and her in. She does the same thing to him. She's so bossy. And this relationship, I'm seeing it. I've seen it from the jump. But this relationship is only going to work if Nick continues to acquiesce to whatever Hannah say do. Because the brother was even like, she even called me, telling me something, get over here and walk this dog. And he was like, it's your fucking dog. No. And I'm like, that's exactly the same stuff she's saying to Nick in this moment. They were sitting there eating. She said something about, did you even compliment me? And the brother and Nick is sitting there thinking, and he couldn't come up with one. Or did she give him a compliment? And they think, yeah, that's what it was. Did she even give him a compliment that day? And they saying they thinking that she never gave not even one, but here he is getting up giving her another compliment. And I'm like, see, no, Hannah, no. You gotta grow up, honey. This ain't it. This ain't it. Alright, so not Nick. Garrett and Taylor out to dinner. Um Wait a second, y'all. Yo, so Nick, why I keep saying Nick? Garrett and Taylor are out to dinner. You can tell it's just before dark because it starts at like, looks like almost sunset, and it's dark by the end of the scene. They're sitting down. Taylor is thanking Garrett for what he did for Monica the night before and helping to console her, talk her through it, like just being a support for her. And he also mentions like she's a one of a kind woman because even in the midst of all of this, she told Garrett, please make sure you still go over there and like check up on Steven. Like, don't end the little friendship that y'all established because of what he did to me. He was like, he thought that was like real nice of her or whatever. So they get into I forgot to mention that they had decided that they was both going to go to San Diego before they actually get to the wedding day. So Nick can meet some of her family and see how she lives out in San Diego and really make his decision as to whether or not he gonna say yes at the altar. So he was like, yeah, I'm cool with that and all that kind of stuff. He was like, his mother sent him an email, and it's the whole how rushed the wedding and stuff is for them, and the fact that it's all so rushed, and the fact that he's considering moving across the country to be with her. That's a problem for his parents. But he assures her that even if her parents decided they wasn't coming to the wedding, they don't agree with his decision, he still was going to marry her because it's up to him, not to them. And with that, she brings up her dad talking to her father and the fact that she was like, I don't want you to take it any kind of way. But my dad just never been one to be all on camera and stuff. So he doesn't want to be on camera at all. And she mentions, but what if he doesn't give you, or even Nick was saying, Garrett was saying, like, what if he doesn't give me the approval? Give me your hand in marriage. And he gets choked up and emotional just even thinking about the fact that the father might say he don't want her to get married to him because she's giving that she ain't gonna do like she's not going to get married if her father don't give her his approval. Whereas he's saying he's standing up to his mother, and she also said, I expect you to continue to have conversations with your parents and stuff like that, and you can leave me out of it. Like, they can say the harsh things and all that, because apparently they've been saying some stuff in regards to her, and it's not all nice. So she was like, I get it, because this is a whole rush thing or whatever, but yeah, it's given that her daddy gonna say no, and she gonna be torn whether she gonna listen to her dad or listen to her heart. That's what it's given to me. And this is a little something we're gonna call I'm Coming Up on the rough side of the mountain. I'm doing my best to make it in. Y'all, Ramses goes to lunch to meet Marissa's mama, her sister, and her two brothers. They come in. Mama on go from the door, okay? You hear me? Mama told Ramsey, y'all look like your brother and sister. The sister steps in and say, well, we ain't going to say that because I see a lot of white couples and they be looking like brother and sister too, but don't nobody ever want to say it, so I'm not going to say that about my own sister. So we find out, they asked Ramsey, do he have any siblings? Ramsey said he got an older brother. The older brother has a different dad. So his mother is highly, highly religious, but she got 2 kids, 2 different men. And also, Ramsey's family is from Venezuela, I found out. Okay. Marissa's mama and this conversation, the beginning of this talk, I was wrong. Marissa don't come from no money. I don't even know if she lived in Baltimore County. Wherever she lived, they came up on the rough side of the mountain. They talking about how poverty stricken they were. The sisters say they were so poor, the mother couldn't afford gloves. They had to use socks when it was cold outside, and that was super embarrassing. The mother presents Marissa with this album, a photo album. She said they used to have a plastic bin with just pictures, and Marissa has always asked her, can she just get an album and put everything together for her in the album? And this was her gift to her for this engagement or whatever in this moment. So Marissa is like, thanks. So she opened the book. They starting to look through the pictures. Also, they mentioned that Marissa and her siblings don't all have the same father either. The mother said that she was 35, divorced with, between 35 and 37, divorced with these 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. She said she was married to Marissa's dad. No, she didn't say she was married to Marissa's dad. She said Marissa's, she don't want him disappointing Marissa the way Marissa has been hurt and disappointed by her dad and her stepdad because they ended up divorced. So she also tells Ramsey, they asked about looks, and she said she don't like the way he dressed. Like, the mother is on go. She's saying all the stuff. She said she don't like the way Ramsey dressed. Marissa excuses herself from the table. They start to talk about No, before she excused herself, they talk about kids, them two having kids, who gonna take care of them and stuff. Because she said Marissa is a career woman and Marissa is a bitch. She said, I already told him that, Mom. She said Marissa is a BRTCH and I'm not gonna want to have to be coming up there to help and staying for a while, helping her take care of some kids. So basically, her mother is telling us, and this is something my aunt always says about her children. I ain't no rocking chair grandmother. When I want to get my grandkids and do things with them, I'll do that. If they call me and they need me to do something, if I'm available, I can do that. But I'm not the rocking chair grandmother that gotta have my grandkids around every day, all day, and stuff like that. And that's essentially what her mother's saying. Like, she living her life, they gotta live theirs and take care of their own, if that moment should come. So she was like, and she's trying to build a law career. She asked him, did he go to school? He said he was in college and he dropped out. She said, what do you do for work? I'm not looking down on you. She was like, because things don't last forever. She said she don't believe in marriage. She said because for however long this going to last, because, you know, in 10, 15 years, it might be something different. Y'all have been put up and just living with each other for all this time and decide, all right, I'm going to pull a trigger. We need to split up because I don't like you no more. You don't like me no more, basically, is what she's saying. She don't believe marriage is a forever thing. She said when she divorced that husband of hers, Marissa had to step up and help out her brothers and sisters. While she was like, she said she put herself through nursing school at night and working during the day while she tried to raise them. And they grew up like, it was hard. She said it was super hard. It was very rough. Them kids had to fend for and look out for themselves, basically. She said, but they all managed to go to college and put themselves through college and finish. Marissa is in law school. She don't want no man living off her daughter. She said, I already know Marissa. Marissa gonna want to be there for her kids. So when she gets ready to have babies, she gonna want to take some time off from her law career to take care of her own babies and stuff like that. Marissa excused herself from the table, and the mother looks at Ramses and said, well, if you love her the way you say you do, it should be no problem with you doing a prenup. Y'all coming together and doing a prenup and signing it. And I'm thinking to myself, and you call Marissa a BITCH, but Mama, you's a BITCH too. She get it from my mama. Ain't that a rap song? She get it from my mama. Something, something, something. And behind her, whatever the lyric says. Marissa get it from my mama. And she was like, yeah, because she like to boss people around. And the mother is here bossing him. Like, he said, so is this you giving me your blessing? She said, I'm not giving you no blessing because nothing, I don't believe anything lasts forever. So basically, y'all will end up divorced anyway. So no, I'm not giving you no blessing. I'm just telling you what it is. So Marissa comes back. The sister stands up and says something. Yeah, because the mother was like, I can't. Marissa asked, do they like him or whatever. The mother was like, I don't know him enough to say I like him. The sister was like, well, just from his energy and the conversation, I like him and I welcome you to my family as my brother-in-law. I'm excited to have you as my brother-in-law. The mother like, I ain't giving you that because I don't believe in the marriage. And she said, Marissa, are you going to do a prenup? Marissa said, that's for me to decide. I'm going to read into it and look into it, and make my own decision about that. Me and him together. That's not for you, basically. That ain't for you to decide. Mind your business, mama. Is basically what Marissa is saying. She said, so do we have your blessing? The mother said, absolutely not. She said, did you sign a prenup? The mama standing 10 toes down on that. Alright, y'all. Nick has gone to a restaurant to meet Hannah's parents. And her little brother, she has a little brother named Ryder. I didn't mention this in a few from the beginning when he met the older brother or the one that's closer to her age. But Hannah looks like she could be in the LGBTQ mafia in another life to me. Hannah definitely has her mother's face as far as looks and her daddy's body. Like her face is shaped like her dad. She got a wide, broad back like her dad. And the little brother is so handsome and so cute. They step in. He told the little brother, I bought you a gift. He bought him a Washington Capitals hat, which is a hockey team. He was like, I don't know how to skate, so you're going to have to show me how to skate. And the little brother is just looking like, okay. Like, we on camera. Let me just make my faces for camera. And Hannah's like, well, he's trying to get into football. You can help him with that. And they asked what he want to play. And he was like, I don't know, a lineman. And Nick was like, oh, I was a kicker. So the joke about his football career once again. I feel like Hannah might have some of the most relaxed, chill parents we have ever seen on this show, let alone this season. Hannah's parents are calling her out. The mother says, relax, you are so wound up. And she like, I am? And the mother is basically like, yeah. You're like, she like, relax. So they both give her the best advice. Like, listen. The mother says to Nick, listen. Sometimes today it's been years, and I'm still questioning whether I made the right decision or not to get married to him. But each day I just keep choosing him and choosing to stay in it. It's going to be a lot of highs of the highs, lowest of the lows, but that's all part of marriage. And you got to find a person that you want to, or a partner that you want to go through all those things and master and, push through with. So, Nick excuses himself. So Hannah's like, all right, so what do y'all think? Do y'all really like him or whatever? And they both are like, yeah, we like him. It's you. So she goes in over, he do things that annoy me and stuff like that. And the mother is like, but that's what you do. And she also said it in front of Nick. You pick things apart. You keep finding reasons and finding excuses. Like, they was like, she just find reasons to let go of somebody, the pettiest things or whatever, but you seem to be sticking around. And they like him, right? The father was like, we don't feel no ways about him. This is your marriage. This is the person you're choosing. So it's up to you. He's fine to us. And when she goes into, he don't do this, and he's annoying me by doing that. They was like, girl, you gotta let some of that stuff go. The mother said, your father chomps down on his food too hard for me. So that's why he gotta eat in the closet. But I overlooked those things. Why? Because I love him. He's my person. And I was like, true. Facts. Even your parents are telling you, you are too wound up. You need to relax and stop picking people apart. And as I'm saying that to her, I'm sitting here saying it to myself. Because they was like, shoot, if we threw you out, if that was the case that you could just throw people out when they annoy you, we would have thrown you out years ago. I said, well, I like her parents. And one thing that they told Nick before Nick walked off, Nick left out to go get the hat that he was going to give the little brother to give Hannah a chance to speak with her parents alone. But before he walked off, they did they made sure to say one thing about our kids. None of our kids lack confidence. I'm just going to tell you that. None of our kids lack confidence, but it's like, yeah, Hannah putting on a show right now showing she got all this confidence. But some of the things that she's done and stuff like that, it shows that she do have some insecurities. And some of the things that she says and pick apart is because she got her insecurities about things. And I feel like she might think that if she's spending time pointing out yours, you don't have time to look at her and point out hers. That's how I feel. Alex and Tim. Tim shows Alex his house that he has. They've decided that once they're married, she's moving into the house with Tim. Tim has a well-kept bachelor pad. Typical man with the leather couches that have a recliner option on them. And she's like, are you sold on these? Because, no, she said, when I move in, can I change some things? Can I do what I can to make it feel like home to me? He said, sure. She was like, the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these couches. The couches are brown leather. She ain't feeling it. I don't know what it is, but men love leather and they love a recliner. But he like, okay, or whatever. And then we see him go and visit her apartment. And just like both, I will say this. Tim and Alex were both true to their word because they had this conversation in the pods about neatness, tidiness, and the fact that she said she's not nasty and dirty, but she is junky, like clothes all over the floor and stuff. And she ain't lying. That room, that apartment, the living room has about 9 bags, might be more, big trash bags full of stuff. She said that's clothes. Some she's selling, some she's donating, and some she just gonna give away or trash, I guess. But she still gotta go through it. They go through her bedroom. It's clothes everywhere, all over the place. It's just, she said, I'm a hoarder. And I said, girl, you and me are the same person when it comes to that. Because, no lie, that's how my room look right now. The closet got yarn in it. I got clothes everywhere. I just have too many clothes in this house for the space I have in this house. As y'all know, I live with my sister and my mom. We all live together. And it's a lot. It's a lot. But he laughs it off about all that stuff she got in there and she got to get rid of. But she's definitely a hoarder. Garrett and Taylor go to one of her friends' condo. They meet up with 3 of her female friends, 1 of her guy friends. And they introduce themselves and they all sit down and have a drink and just chat. And the one friend name, it's spelled Darpan, so I'm guessing it's pronounced Darpan or Darpan. But she asked the real questions like, you are giving up a lot. Like she asked him like, you really how sure are you about this? Like, because the reality is you are really giving up a lot. You giving up your work life, your way of life, your family and everything to go follow her and go to San Diego. Is that really what you want to do? And he's like, yeah, I love her, and he gets emotional. Like, he really in love with Taylor. You can look at him, and the friends are just looking at him explain how much he is in love with Taylor. And he would have never thought that he would be wanting to do something like that and willing to do something like that, like giving up his whole life to move to another coast for a woman. But they looking at him and looking at her, looking at him, looking at Taylor, looking at him. And the guy friend speaks up, was like, I just gotta say, like, I've never seen her look at somebody the way she's looking at him. And the other friend chimes in, was like, yeah, hard eye emoji is what she's looking like. And she does, like, the camera focuses and zooms in on her face. And in this moment, this made me realize, I didn't think she was unattractive. I thought she was average. But Taylor is pretty, and it's the dimples for me. Her teeth are pretty. They straight, they white. They look like they her teeth and not veneers. And it's the dimples, y'all. Ooh, them dimples are so deep. I always wanted dimples. I always wanted them. Excuse me. But he's like, he's talked to his family, and that's one of their concerns, the fact that he is giving up. His friends and family are saying the same thing. It's like he giving up his whole life to go out there with her. But he's willing to take that chance. And Taylor chimes in like, yeah, I kept using the phrase, I'm taking a quantum leap. And that's when they make a joke about they maybe that they'll have some kids and they're going to raise a kid that's going to win a Nobel Peace Prize. So we'll see. We back with Ramses and Marissa. She asks how he feels about meeting her mother and her siblings. He said y'all all are a lot. Lots of energy and everything, but he enjoyed it. About the thing with the prenup, he don't have an issue with it. She was like, but I don't even have no money right now. He said, but it's cool. I'm all for a prenup. If that's what you want to do, I'm doing it without question. If that's the way you want to go about things, I'm not making a big deal about it, even if you start to make money down the line, basically. So then they have the conversation about kids and sex. She doesn't, her timeline for kids, like she could have a kid right now. She don't care. But that's the issue because I believe she's supposed to be in law school at the moment. That's a lot to take on, law school and raising a family. Um, I forgot to mention in that last segment too, when he was mansplaining how marriage worked, because he did tell her mom and her siblings that he was previously married to his high school sweetheart, and they got married pretty young. The mother said, "How old was you?" He said 25. She said 25 is not pretty young. Like you were well aware of what you were making the decision to do. And he said that it was a mutual decision to split up and get divorced because he said that when he lost his father, he basically lost his way when his father died. And he started questioning a lot of things about life, him in life, and he started to move in a different direction. And it was away from what he had been taught all his life. And he felt like his ex-wife deserved to be with somebody that was sure, especially about, I'm guessing, sure about the trajectory of life that they were headed for before he started questioning things. And also, I'm sure it's about that religion too. And she probably is somebody that's like super religious, I guess. But anywho, um, the mother had said that to him in that last meeting when they had lunch. But in this conversation, Marissa says like she can have a kid today. He said he don't want to have kids just yet. At minimum, he want to wait at least the next 3 years because he want to take time for them to learn and know each other. And I agree with that. I don't feel like even in my own marriage, I did want kids, but I didn't want them right away. Especially with us being young, we got married at 25 and 26. And neither one of us ever had a kid. And both of us we had lived at home all our lives. So both of us, like us getting our apartment a month before our wedding, that was the first time we both had stepped out and lived outside of our mother's homes. So it's like we wanted to take the time to get to know each other, enjoy the last few years of our 20s. At least that's what I had in mind. And, you know, don't bring a kid into it. And we had talked about that before, but then once we were married, he started mentioning more and more about that he wasn't sure he really wanted to have kids. That was one of his concerns. And then he was only 20, by this time he's 27, 28. He cheating, you know, and stuff like that. And I found out. I mean, intuition told me he was going to do these things. And I told him, I said, this is what you're going to do. I'm already knowing it. And he actually did do it. And I found out maybe 6 months after I said that to him that I knew he was going to do it. And it took some time for us to go through with getting a divorce and getting it finalized. But yeah, been there, been done that. But when he was trying to mansplain, when Ramses was trying to mansplain marriage to the mother, and she had to stop him and say, "Are you explaining marriage to me, the person who was divorced with 4 kids at 35, 36? Come on." And he was like, "Yeah, well, yeah, you're right." But anywho, during this conversation, Marissa is saying that if she has to, she will make an appointment to go to the doctor and get back on birth control. But she really didn't want to go get on birth control because, of course, most of them are hormonal and they do things to your body. I mean, I'm somebody that was on them for years, and even during times where I wasn't even active doing anything or even had somebody in my life, but they do. Them hormones do some stuff to your body. Fibroids, which are prevalent in women of color, having fibroids. They knock your hormones out of whack. I feel like they are the reason I'm a PCOS warrior. And I'm fibroid warrior. It's like a whole lot of things that go along with being on there. And so he was like, "Well, I don't want you to do nothing that you aren't ready and willing to do, or whatever." And she was like, "Okay, so we're going to have condom sex." And he was like, "Condom sex, though?" And she was like, "Well, What do you want to do? You want to run the risk of getting pregnant before we ready to get pregnant, or before you're ready to get pregnant? Because you want to have raw dog sex? And he was like, sex is just not enjoyable for me with a condom. She said, I've had some of my most enjoyable moments with condom sex. So he was like, well, I gotta be satisfied and enjoy it as well. So at this point, who knows what they're gonna decide to do. I feel like Marissa gonna go ahead and run the risk of whatever happens, happens. If they get into it and they pull out a condom and put it on, okay. If they get into it and they don't pull out a condom, oh well. And she said, as long as you okay with the consequences of having raw sex, which is babies, that's on you, bruh. Cause I don't want to get on birth control. You already said that you support me and not getting on birth control because of what it does to your body. So then they also talked about her meeting his mom, and do he think that the meeting with his mom is gonna go similar to her what happened with his? And he was like, no, absolutely not. So I'm wondering if he mean absolutely not, and that they not his mom not gonna grill him or her as much as her mom was grilling them, or what? I don't know, but I can't wait to see. I want to see Ramsey's mama. I really do. Nick's at his parents' house, well, home. Hannah's on her way to meet his parents. Looking at the parents, I looked at his mom. I was like, ooh, she got some Latin or Hispanic ethnicity or heritage. And the dad looks like it's an actor that the father looks like. I can't think of who it is, but that the chin strap and the hairline, I can't think of that man's name. But he played in a lot of movies. But his father looks like that guy. And you can see that because Nick is only 28. So you can see that his parents had him later in life. So Hannah arrives. Um Before she arrived though, Nick said something, and now I can't think of what it is. He said something about the relationship and them meeting her, and the mom kind of did a like that, and it made me a bit nervous. But when Hannah arrived and came in the door, she Nick told her things that they're into and what they like. So she bought the father a set of golf balls, and the mother likes pineapples, so she bought the mom a pineapple salt and pepper shaker set, and a pineapple dip dish. So to put your little favorite dips and stuff like that in, which is cute. The mom is in the middle of cooking. They all hug and everything. And the mom was like, well, I gotta get back to this cooking, and Hannah, you're gonna help me. And Hannah's like, okay, cool. And so Nick and his dad go out and go sit on the sunroom porch to talk. And the dad's like, I can't believe, because they both parents said that this is the first time Nick brought somebody home, and this is very different for them. The dad said, but if you're happy, I'm happy. She's fine by me. She seems like a nice young lady. And the mom and Hannah have a good conversation. Hannah is like, listen, I got cut off at 18, so I'm more responsible than him. And that kind of like gets on my nerves a bit. Having to remind him to do things, ask him to do certain things. But it's because he was raised different from me. And the mom was like, yeah, I was, with us, our kids were into sports, so we supported that and tried to make sure that we were at every game, because we figured that later in life, the kids, that's something that's gonna sit with them, that my parents were there for every game. And so we kind of spoiled them and took care of them, because we tried to give them everything we never had growing up. And I say, see, that's the thing with a lot of black parents too. It's like, people my age, I feel like people my age with their kids, they raise their kids on, especially if they got the means, they take their kids on trips, they do all the things and let their kids experience things that they wish that they could have experienced as a kid. Whereas the generation before us, like my mom, my dad, and everything, I feel like they was born right, doing civil unrest and stuff like that. And you know all the things that happened with the civil rights era. So times were hard. They was raised to be survivors, basically. Not thrivers, but more so you gotta survive, you gotta push forward, keep pushing through. And so they raised their kids out of that. And our parents raised us out of. I know with my mom, it was things that she didn't let us have when we was growing up, things we couldn't do and stuff like that. But for the most part, like I ain't even going front. My mom is not a materialistic person, but there were times in my childhood and growing up that my mom tried to make sure that my needs were met as far as, oh no, not my needs, because my needs were met. She tried to make sure my wants were met with the things that she bought me. My mom is a gift giver. She showed love through that. Um, and because she was raised by a person who came up hard and raised her kids hard and raised them to be survivors and stuff like that. My mom tried to give us things that my grandmother didn't give them this didn't take into consideration. This what my kids like, so I'm gonna let them have this. My grandmama didn't do that. My mom did that though, and I really appreciate her for that. But it was a nice conversation between Nick's mom and Hannah, cause she hugged her. She said, I'm happy you're gonna be my daughter-in-law." She showed her. She said, "Let's go test these pots." They cause she said Hannah told her, like, Nick said that you're a very good cook, and she said okay. So that's when she opened the pot, and I believe she said it was some paella in the pot. So I'm like, oh, and she said it's a Cuban something. So maybe the mom is Cuban descent. I'm guessing, but they all sit down and have dinner together, and that's when the mother and the father both say, they good with Nick marrying her. They welcome her into the family and everything. They like her a lot, it seems like. And if he chose her after not bringing anybody home ever, and he bring her home, then they know that she's a good choice. And I was like, that's good. That's good. Also, I wanted to mention, who was it? Was it Nick? I think it might have been Nick that said he liked somebody to push him. And I feel like it was Nick. Nick said that to Hannah's parents, that he needs somebody to push him and tell him, like, this is what's what. He liked that Hannah is not a pushover. And she talks smart to him. But see, he's saying he like it, but there are times that it annoys him and aggravates him. Definitely so. The last 7 minutes, Tyler tells, it's the conversation that where Tyler tells Ashley the thing that we've all found out. But what he tells her is still a fucking lie. Apparently he opened up to her about something. It's 2 weeks before the wedding. When she heard it, it took her aback. She left. She comes in, they're going to sit and they're going to talk. And she was like, I feel like you took away one of our superpowers. And I feel like for her, their superpower is that how much they loved and like totally felt secure in and trusted one another. And now she finds out he's been lying. Because like she said, I sat there and I thought about it. And I'm still thinking about it. And trying to wrap my mind around the thing. You talked about having a family and wanting to have kids, and you already got 3 sperm babies. And when she said sperm babies, I said, damn, that was diabolical terminology. But yeah, 3. You said you a sperm donor. That's something that you should have told her. That's something, like she said, I should have known that before I decided to say I accept your proposal, and before you went and talked to my father and asked for my hand and asked for his blessing. I should have known this. Now, she didn't mention, well, we didn't see her mention her father in this conversation, but I'm mentioning it. Because he did take the time to ask that man for his daughter's hand. And made like that was such a big deal to him, only for him to be lying. Like I said, every time they show Tyler on this screen, I just kept saying, but you lying though, you lying, you lying, you lying, you lying, you lying, you lying. His name should be Lawler, not Tyler. And why is it this Tyler and the actor Tyler Lepley, both biracial, similar facial features, did the same thing? Except for Tyler Lepley, he was with that first baby mama. They was boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know if they was ever engaged. And now he didn't have a baby. He left the other baby mama to be with Miracle Watts. Is her name Miracle Watts? Whatever her name is, but they both played on season 2 of P Valley. And she put something out there like she thought that once she got pregnant by him and had that little boy that they got together, she thought that he was gonna be like, oh yeah, she wifey material. I'm gonna marry her. Girl, did you not see how he did that first baby mama? What made you think he was gonna rush down the aisle to marry you? But it's like the Tyler Lepley and this Tyler from Love Is Blind. Why are they so eerily similar in that regard? Like, ew, Tylers of the world. Y'all give the Tylers of the world bad name. Y'all do. But she like, I should have known this. And how many kids is it? And he was like, it's 3. She was like, well, what is sex? Like, he was like, 2 girls, a boy. Like, she ain't know none of that. And she said, and you had these kids with your friend. With a friend. He like, yeah. She should have known that. But like I said, he's still lying because TikTok researchers and detectives, even not just those people, but friends of the girl mama, and everything. They all didn't put out there that basically it's more than what he's saying. It wasn't just a sperm donor situation, basically. And he been in them kids' lives, like doing stuff with them. Like I said, dressing up for Christmas together, all those things being there. He got the 2 car seats in his hand I saw on one picture and everything. Like, I guess there's different ways of being a sperm donor. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Is being a sperm donor as complicated as being as complicated and nuanced as doing adoptions, whether it's open ended or closed ended? Because to be honest, I just found out last week when I was looking up something. Somebody was talking about, I forgot what I was looking at, and they were talking about Tyler from what is that girl name? What is that girl name? You know the show MT 15 and Pregnant or whatever it was called, and they had their daughter and they named her Carly, and they ended up, and why his name got to be Tyler too, but they ended up giving their daughter up for adoption, and the oldest child, and apparently the mother, she been going online because the adoptive parents, their names was, I believe the adoptive parents, I know the adoptive mother, her name is Teresa. But at first they would send pictures and stuff like that back and forth so they can see how their daughter was progressing in life. Caitlin is her name. Her name Caitlin. But eventually Caitlin and Tyler went on to get married and have more kids. And I think that they was sending Carly stuff about them being married and stuff about her siblings that they had since they gave her up for adoption. And to me personally, I feel like with that, maybe Carly started to feel away. Like, I think the stepfather name is Brandon. Brandon and Teresa, I believe. Or Brian and Teresa. But I'm feeling like they probably never really wanted to be in the spotlight. But they had an open-ended adoption. And what I did not know is open-ended just means that we let you know, in the beginning stages, how your child doing and all that kind of stuff. They're going to know who you are and you're going to know about them in the beginning. But at some point, y'all break away and they go on to raise that child and make the decisions for that child because you gave your rights over to them. It don't mean that y'all be in each other's lives all the time for the whole life and keep doing things together. But I feel like maybe seeing that stuff, seeing them on the 15 team. I know it's not called 15 and Pregnant. It's called Teen Mom. 15 and Pregnant was a movie. Teen Mom, and they called Teen Mom OG, where all of them teen moms came back together, did a reality show together and stuff. And I feel like Brandon and Teresa took Carly's feelings into consideration, and maybe Carly complained to them like she don't want to see that. They gave me up, but now they done gone on to have these other kids. Even though they had these other kids when they were out of their teens, I believe. They were at least out of high school and got married and decided to have more kids. But maybe Carly feels a way about all of that. And Brandon and Teresa decided not to respond to her no more or anything because of Carly's feelings. And apparently Caitlyn went online and made a video about the fact that Brandon and Teresa haven't answered any of her emails or messages or anything in a long time, so they don't know what's going on with Carly. But you signed your rights over, so what can you do? But anywho, back to Tyler and Ashley. Tyler, you know you did wrong. You still scheming and scamming. Because in the end, she like, I don't even know how I want to handle this. Like, we supposed to be getting married in 2 weeks. That's a lot. You asking me a lot right now. And he gonna sit there and say, and rubbing her knee as he's saying this. Listen, I did not expect this to be the way that our story go. But trust in me and give me a chance. Because this is definitely not how I wanted our story to go or how I wanted our story to end. And then it goes off and shows us what's coming up. And what's coming up right now, I didn't watch the whole thing. I stopped it. But I see Ramses and Marissa on a boat on the harbor in D.C. because you can see the White House in the background and everything. And you can see the highway that goes through D.C. and goes over to Alexandria, Virginia. And I forgot to mention that was the excursion that they went on when they were before they came home from Cabo. They went on a boat in Cabo and somebody drove them and they laid out on the front part of the boat or the back of the boat, I guess, and had like a picnic on top of the boat. But y'all, what do y'all think? I think the more I watch this, the more I watch it, I don't know, is Garrett going to say yes to Taylor at the altar? Cause we gotta see how this trip to San Diego when he meets our family is gonna go. Like, is one of them gonna say yes at the altar? He's saying he is. He's saying how much he really truly loves her. But I don't know. Nick keeps saying how much he wants a woman like Hannah, but he says that in one breath, and in another breath on the other side of his mouth, he is tired of her sarcasm and her digs at him all the time. Like, that's the conversation he had with her brother, too. So I don't know if they're going to say yes. The more and more I look at this, though, I feel like Alex and Tim have really made a turnaround from what happened in Cabo. And I can see them two actually going through and getting married. But I can't wait for her. Is she going to meet anybody from his family? Like his parents or something? I wonder. I really do. And I forgot to mention, he showed her the picture of his two sisters. And from that picture, you can tell they were so pretty and full of joy or whatever. I feel bad for him. Because you can tell he looked up to them and he really relied on them. They played a pivotal role in his life. They really did. And I feel like he's looking for them in Alex. That's why he always mentions how much she dote on her little brothers and stuff like that. And that's probably why when they was in the pods, he keep bringing up his sister. My sister did that. One of my sisters had that and stuff like that. He looking for his sister. Or the care, and because the care her sisters gave him, he's looking for that in a woman. But you can't expect her to be your sisters. That's the only problem. And I'm guessing the 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 pretend per the potential issues I see between them two is his need to keep things neat and tidy, and that's the military in him. They are very well organized and tidy. My dad is was in the Navy. Let me see. I got a dad that was in the Navy. My uncle retired from the Navy. My cousin, I got two cousins that retired from the Navy. One that joined the Navy at the same age that his older brother went into the Navy, but him and the brother are 20. Him and his brother are 22 or 21 years apart because the age that my cousin retired, my other cousin, his little brother, actually went in at the same age. Matter of fact, he went in for boot camp right after my cousin put his papers in to retire. And so it was like we was having a party, a retirement party, and a going off the boot camp party, all within the same couple of weeks of each other. So yeah. So I know that with military people, they are regimented, like they have a routine, and that's how they gonna be, and they are neat and they are tidy, and that might cause an issue for Tim, cause Alex is messy and she's a hoarder. She's a clothes hoarder though, like me, much like me. But yeah, that's it for this episode. I see y'all next week. I watched and recorded all these episodes in the same day, but I don't know if I'm gonna put them all up together in the same day. But I see y'all later here. Y'all be easy, y'all be good. Y'all put in the comments who y'all think will make it to the altar and say yes, and who y'all think are gonna say no. Let me know. And even if they make it to the altar and say yes, I wonder how many of them making it to the altar and saying yes, how many of them are going to stay married more than 2 years? I wonder. Alright, y'all. I'm out. Be easy.